Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. During my adolescent and teenage years, I felt very lost and had no direction for where I wanted to go in my life. I wasn't very active and didn't really like participating in team sports. As a result of my inability to cope with harsh words received from my father about my academic performance in school, I internalized his criticism and held on to the pain that he caused me out of resentment towards him, which manifested in feelings of self-doubt and low self-esteem. In college, I turned to alcohol, drugs, and sex to cope with my insecurities. My identity became all about partying, and as a result, I gained nearly 100 pounds. After graduating, I was unhealthy, reckless, and obese. I was spiraling down a dark path. It started to become clear to me that if I didn't turn my life around, I would end up sick, jailed, or dead. Therefore, in 2012, I turned to running as a way to be active and help me lose weight, as friends in college had told me that it was helpful for them. I've never been fast compared to my family and friends, but in the words of Forrest Gump, I just kept running. I ran on my own in the morning and in the evening. I ran on the road and on trails. I ran 5Ks, 10Ks, and in 2017, I ran my first half marathon. After waiting a year, I decided I was ready to run my first full marathon, a distance I once thought to be impossible. Therefore, I'd like to talk about my registration, training, and running my first marathon and its positive impact on my life. So I found out about the race from the November Project, which is a weekly pop-up workout at the VMFA, and they were trying to get more people to sign up for the race. This was going to be a week after my 32nd birthday, so I was very excited to register for this because I saw it as a great opportunity for me to not only celebrate my birthday and my positive perspective, but also to start the year off on a good foot. And I was very quick to register, but as soon as I registered, I realized that my sister was getting married in Virginia Beach the next day, like after the race. So as soon as I told my parents about this, they were like, "You can't do this," because they were so concerned about me, with all the traveling from Virginia Beach to Northern Virginia, worrying about me possibly not having enough sleep. But I was committed to doing this challenge that I had set forth for myself, and I stuck to it. So I started training in January 2019 with the Nike Plus Run Club app, marathon training plan. My brother used this for his first marathon and recommended it to me, so I thought I'd give it a shot. I started doing my training with my friend David, who was also involved with November Project, and he was much more experienced with trail running than I was, and he devised routes for us at Pocahontas State Park for me to do our training, since he was much more familiar with that park, and that was good for me because it was one less thing for me to worry about. So we gradually increased the mileage week by week, getting up to 18 miles, and each week I was just getting blown away by what I was capable of doing. This was also a great opportunity for me to experiment with my hydration and different types of nutrition. And I don't typically carry a water bottle with me when I run, so I had to get used to training with a hydration backpack. So the race came around in April, and it started off I was in good spirits, I had great energy, the weather was beautiful, and I was ready to get this thing done. However, due to rain the previous day, the course was very muddy and full of puddles, which I had to trek through in the first couple miles. And after about mile 2, I tripped and fell on a root and scraped my knee up, covered in mud, though I had similar falls during training, and this was just par for the course. After the first 5 miles, I had difficulty with my hydration backpack, which started leaking due to a broken seal at the bladder's mouth. After completing the first half marathon, I was overwhelmed by the emotion of having gotten that far, and I feared I could not do it again. I had to talk myself down and remind myself that I had done the work and I could run much further. The course was very challenging. My hydration pack was leaking. My leg was bleeding and caked with mud, but I was still breathing, and there was only one way back. I took a few cleansing deep breaths and repeated the mantra to myself, I can do this. I can do this. In that moment, I changed my perspective and rejected the self-doubt of my past. I let go of the fear of failure and resentment that I felt from my relationship with my dad. Rather than focusing on my physical pain as much as I could, I turned my focus inward and appreciated the beautiful parts of myself that helped me get that far, and I pushed through it. After about 20 miles, my legs were done, but the race was far from over. My only option was to keep going and walk for the last 6 miles. As I looked down at my new tattoo, my mantra became, keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. I was going to finish no matter how long it took me. 7 hours later, I mustered up the strength to run across the finish line. I broke down with tears of joy as I completed the most difficult challenge I had ever done at that point in my life. Feeling so grateful to have completed it and to prove to myself that I could do it. Not only had I come 26 miles to finish the race, but I had come so far in my journey in life, from the obese, alcohol-abusing frat boy to the lean, vibrant runner that I am today. Running has proven to be a beautiful teacher for me in my life that has shown me I am capable of so much more than I know. In conclusion, running has taught me that life is not about how fast you go or the distance you need to go to travel from start to finish. My training taught me that you need to adapt to life and roll with it, even if you fall down and get stuck. When things don't work out, you modify and try again. You just got to keep moving forward. You can do it. Thank you.